Hey YouTube, how is it going? I hope all is well. Steven, first in the house tonight. Very nice. What do we got here? It says, I put a link in the live chat of a guitar channel. Oh, well, I hope so too. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, my man. I don't know if you've seen the post from John, but John is starting to put some more posts out there trying to show some of the dichotomy of the different entry types and all that jazz. Some of it's obviously tongue-in-cheek, but he's just trying to give you no excuse not to get in on it because there's nothing to lose, really. It's essentially, I mean, it's free, right? It doesn't cost you anything. Literally, we just, send a short video. The reason it needs to be short is because it's got to be within that 30 megabyte thing that most mail servers have. So we're not looking for anything. It doesn't change the outcome of the game anyway. So, or the sweepstakes. For those of you who are new here and haven't seen what we got going on before, this is a giveaway series that we're working on right now. This guy right here is the amplifier that I am building to give away. Grant Us Glorious Tone is going to host that giveaway. You may notice that I did update the rules a little bit in the description. So really not much has changed. It doesn't really change all that much. Lone Dog, how's it going, my man? Good to see you. That sounds great. Stick around. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to drill some more holes too. I failed in my creation of this video once again. I'm good at doing that. I didn't update the name of the video, so it has the same name as the last one, so it says faceplates on it. I'll go back and adjust that. But in this episode here, we're going to kind of finalize a few things. We're going to put the last few holes in this chassis that we need. And it's possible even that we'll get the shield installed and maybe get the transformers installed. We're kind of at a point now where we don't really need to worry about the faceplates anymore. And if you haven't already seen the faceplates, I'm busting them out for you now. Now, you guys failed me so bad. You're supposed to catch me on this stuff and be like, Luke, you're an idiot. So I'm just teasing, of course, but I didn't catch it. KFC Tuesday, let's go. I didn't catch it until later. It was right at the very end of the last video. You can probably kind of notice that I was starting to get a little distant and started to slow down a little bit. It was because something had dawned on me when I was starting to take all the parts out, and it, just kind of a realization had set in that the place for the fuse and the place for the voltage connector didn't align with my reality any longer. So as you may recall, this guy is going to go in like this. So we would have the voltage selector here and the fuse here, right? That's not what we agreed on, right? And I know that that's the case because I created some parts specifically for that. If I could break it apart, there we go. So this guy goes here. All right, that's the fuse, and it connects directly to the PEM, this guy here, via that short little jumper. I knew that. Why I didn't change my layout for that is beyond me, but as I was sitting there looking at the faceplate, it was kind of like dawning on me, like the voltage is over here, and I'll show you what I mean. Actually, I put it away already, but I'll show you what I mean. Can't even remember where I put all my own scraps at. So this is the faceplate that I had created for the back panel of the amp, and you'll notice it says voltage here and then slow blow there. That would be incorrect. It needs to be the other way around. It needs to be slow blow here and voltage over there. And then I moved the placement of that. It just made a little more sense there. I also made one other small adjustment. I moved this up a little bit so it was centered in between these two a little bit more. On this one, it's just a little bit low. A little refinement, if you will. So yeah, even I do make mistakes. Like they say, measure 5 times, cut once, because you know. In this case, I think some of my haste to try to get this thing ready and just, little things like that. It's always just the little things. Again, you're kind of watching a prototype come to life. I've never built this amp before. So I have a good idea of where things should go, how it'll all fit together, and I'm trying to envision it in my head. But the reality of, of course, all of that is, completely different. So one little mistake or one little, difference that you weren't accounting for or something like that will kind of break things up a little bit. So we need to add a couple more ground points, and let me explain why. So we got this one over here for the input, right? So this is our preamp ground over there. We've got this one down here, that is our safety ground, and that one must remain on its own, okay? So we need at least 2 more. I'm gonna add 3 more, and let me explain how I'm gonna do that. So you can kind of see, I put a, you can't see it because of the lighting, but right down there you can see this little dimple right there. That little dimple there is where I'm gonna put one of the grounding lugs. I'm gonna put another one pretty much in the same general vicinity, in line with this other. I'll show you why I put it there too. So it conveniently hides things. And then of course these little guys here will just kind of poke out underneath it. I don't really need the lane that they will exist under, but in either case, I am going to take this off there and I'm going to add a ground lug there. So we're going to actually use that as a spot for a ground lug. It'll be kind of non-incidental. And then we're going to put one right here, like I was saying, again, kind of right in line with that other turret board that'll go there. Why break them up? Well, you want to try to keep different parts of the amp somewhat separated. Probably doesn't matter in most cases as long as you follow a pretty good guideline. Essentially, they always say it's best to ground at the input and then have everything flow in that direction from the back to the end. I don't like that mentality. To me, it makes no sense to put the noisiest thing in the amp at the ass end of your ground scheme and have the only exit point for it at the, at the input side of the amp. So all the noise is probably not going to flow that direction, but invariably it's the only direction that it can flow, the currents and stuff that are in there. So hey, Riley, there you are. Mullet as well. Sorry, I'm trying to keep on thought process here, but so there's a bunch of different mentalities as it comes to grounding schemes and stuff like that. My mentality is, and I haven't had a problem with it, is that I prefer to ground at the ass end, right? So even if I didn't use this one here and I just tied everything in a bus that all went towards the ass end of the amp, and when I say ass end, I mean the power section of the amp, and grounded even just with 1 point, even if it was just with 1 point, everything at that 1 point, I have had good luck with that. But the reality of it is you should probably separate into at least a few different nodes. One of them would be the center taps and all the noisy stuff. So center taps would be your center taps for your power transformer. So that would be your HT center taps. And then maybe your first reservoir node. Those are the 3 noisiest things in the amp. And then you would have another grounding point that would take care of maybe your screen node, perhaps your speaker node, or your speaker ground, I should say. And if you have a bias circuit, maybe your bias circuit would go there as well. Something like that, right? Your noisiest stuff. And then you would have, say, a third node that took care of everything else. And everything else would be your return path for your negative feedback, your pi, your preamp, and all the other stuff, right? We're breaking it up a little bit. I'm going to have a total of 4 nodes in here. One at the preamp, one here, which will be the feedback, pi, and the ass end of the amp preamp section, right? So the pi and the negative feedback return. I believe I'm also going to... I am going to split it up. So in this spot right here is where I'm going to do the HT and the first reservoir. So those will be the closest thing to the exit of the amp. I pretend, if you will, that the safety ground is the exit of the amp. So that's where all the noise wants to try to flow towards, essentially, right? So, I wish I was, I wish I was a genius builder, but we try to be clever and smart about it, right? So right there is the closest thing out. All the noisiest stuff goes right there. It's getting its way out of here. The next noisiest thing is this guy here, which will be the screen node, the bias supply, and the negative for the speaker output. Interestingly enough, that is not closer than this guy there. If you were to actually do the math on it, I think it's almost identical in distance. Let me confirm if I'm crazy or not. It's about 3 1/4 inches. whereas this one here is about 2 3/4, say 3 inches. So that little bit of difference is not going to make a difference. So it's just convenient at this point for me to split that node up instead of trying to get all the things that could go here easily and getting them over to that one. I want this one to be closer for sure though. So what I'm going to do, since this one right here is the ground for our bias supply, I can go right to that guy right there off the ground lug that I'll put. The speaker, again, the same thing. It'll just end up at that point. It makes it easy. I don't have to run it around and do all kinds of fun stuff. And then everything else will land quite conveniently right there. So that's the plan. The screen node, as I mentioned, is also going to go around and touch in on this guy as well. So, yeah, whatever. It's going to be okay either way. At those distances, it doesn't really matter. But at least the nodes themselves will be touching the things that they need to be touching. Okay, so I think we're going to just kind of get right into it. I'm going to see if my my little punch wants to cooperate with me today. But Riley, what's up, man? I haven't seen you doing a live in the last couple days. Everything okay over there in the EU? I'm gonna get brave. I already put a little mark there. I know that it's gonna work, so I'm just gonna kind of punch in on it. I do want to try to it to the side a little bit, and I think that will work right there where I snapped it in. Yeah, this thing's just being touchy lately. And then I go and I scratch everything up. I don't know what it is. I think it's either broken inside or just worn out. Or all the above, who knows. This thing is probably older than some of you in this chat. It's playing for the most part. Anyway, I'm not going to bother with it. I don't like using a hammer with a punch because it generally seems to make too much of a dent. The nice sharp wrap that those things have helps a lot. So I'm going to use this small little guy here. And we are kind of dedicated, and I am going to drill from the bottom out because I don't have a way to transfer to the other side. So bear with me while I hang this over the edge of the chassis a little bit here. Or hang this over the edge of the desk here. There we go. Yeah, landed about right. So that is the mark that I made on the other side to try to hit to. So we managed to get pretty dang close. I'll take that. I do want to try to that way a little bit though. I want to to as far to the inside as I can. So as I am growing these holes, that's what I'm going to attempt to do. Might not work though. I don't know. It might be too late already. And let's make sure I'm not going to hit anything I don't want to. Not going to hit anything I don't want to. We're good in that regard. I moved it a little bit. We are going to be using a 632, so we know that we can basically size our way up to that 5/32 or whatever the heck it was. So that's what we're going to do. All right, one more hole size to go up for that one. And I just want to confirm my craziness. Nope, not a 5/32, excuse me. 9/64 is what it was. Yep, that's the one. All right. Now, if all this goes really well, which there's no reason why it shouldn't at this point, what I'll end up with when we transfer this, that's kind of cool. I'll take that. And very nice. All right, let's see if I can do this without poking myself here. Okay, if we're lucky, what will happen is that the screw will land inside of here. That's the plan, is for the screw to land in between one of these weld marks there and still be able to stay within the inside confines of that, of the metal here. And you can see I drew a line on the outside. So according to this, it should make it. It'll be close, and I knew it was going to be close. Because when we take one of these and we center it up, we're hoping that it's not going to extend outside. It does not extend outside of that line, and it looks like there's about a 1/16 of an inch. That was the hope and plan, but you can see even trying to transfer it over, I didn't get quite as far over that way as I'd hoped. I could, I guess, be a dick and go another size up on the drill and see if that will change the odds a little bit, but I'm not really that concerned because I'm pretty certain that this thing is gonna work out. So if I was really trying to be crazy, what we'll see underneath there is the red mark, which you can see. And if I just take my pen which hopefully left a mark on the other side. Let's just double check and make sure it didn't move too much. It didn't move too much. It moved a little bit. There's where the hole's gonna land. See if you can see that. Right there, that's where the hole's gonna land. So it's gonna be tight, like I said, but it is gonna clear the welds. It'll be just on this side of the weld there. So I will have to drill this. That's gonna be less than fun, but let's get the other holes done. I've been trying to not touch that piece for as long as I can because I want that paint to be as dry as possible. It seems to be pretty well cured. That was one of the first pieces I worked on, if you recall. And the reason for that was to buy myself as much time as possible to make sure that that paint cured before I messed it up. Which it could be to my dismay, because if I frick that piece up now, I'm really going to be upset. Oh, what? Learning the OBS, okay. Got a background removal tool. No chroma key yet, though. Getting the green screen is the key. That's what's making what you see on the screen here possible. Awesome. Thank you, Mullet. I appreciate that. So let me kind of give you an idea of what's going on here. So we have the amp cam. The amp cam's only possible because of this screen here that you see. So behind me is a green screen, and that allows me to put the overlays that you kind of see here. But then because of that chroma key setting, I can then take this guy and overlay myself on myself. And I just try to do it so that way everything's kind of, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, moving on. Let's see about this one here. I don't know that I really want to put it in the same location on this one here. So this row right there, I'll use the pointer here. It's row number 7. This row right here isn't in use. None of the turrets in that row need to be used. I am going to use that turret, but I kind of want to not be that close to the edge on the other side. But I also got to be mindful that the feet of the transformer here will extend past their thing a little bit. And where did I put it? I just had it not too long ago. Maybe I put it away. No, I didn't. Come on, you guys. Where did I put it? I'm kidding. It's right here. So let's see here. If I do the math on this, it's like basically 4.5 inches, and each foot is an inch. So I basically got up to the edge of this thing here to make that fit so it doesn't get in the way. But I don't want it also to be too close to that, because I do got to get the wire around this nut right there. And it will be a pretty fat nut too. Fat nut. What? So this guy will be sticking up through like that. All right. I don't know if you can see it, but whatever. That'll be sticking up. So I want the wires to work around that. So I don't want it too close, but I don't want it too far either. I think that's a little too far. So I'm going to move it in one hole and try to make it so it's just a little bit Got a little bit more playroom. So let's see what that's going to look like. I need a drill bit. I believe it was a 5/64 they used yesterday. So I'm going to do kind of half-ass here on it. Just going to set that there. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. I want to go in one extra hole. Well, that fit on the other one, no problem. But now it doesn't want to fit. And I think that's the smallest size I have. Hold on. Maybe not. Maybe we can just use this other smaller size. Whatever. Whatever. All right, let's try this one last freaking time. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to go in one extra one here. And ish, right? That should leave a mark. There's the mark right there. So is that mark going to be too close? It will not be. It'll be close, but it will not be too close. Now is that where I want it? I kind of do want to put it back one. I know it's kind of brave, but now that I know where, so I think I can just do it from here. I kind of almost wish I didn't leave that mark there, but it's non-incidental. You'll never see it because it will be underneath anyway. Decisions, decisions, decisions. Darn it. For some reason, there's a part of my body saying I need to go to that one there and not tempt fate too much. So I'm going to go to that one there. And as I recall, that one is very close enough. So I'm going to err to the inside of it. I'm going to go right there. That's where we're going. I'm putting a hole right there, all right? Kind of get, as you can probably tell, I'm starting to get to that point where decisions just have to get made. So I'm just going to do it. I even wore a shirt today to try to inspire me, if you will. I got a Y-DNA shirt on in hopes that his his assuredness on where things will go and how it should be done is living within me today. I was talking with Andy the last couple days. I love Andy. He's a cool cat. All right, we're going straight to the big guns here, so I'm not going to do much stepping up or down or whatever. That one landed right on the money. All right, that is the size I needed, if I'm not mistaken. Where did I put that little guy? That is the size I want. Uh-oh, somebody's messaging me. What do I got? What do I got? Oh, it's the wife. The wife said that she loved that I was doing a live, which is not true. I know that she doesn't actually love that I'm doing a live. But she's being nice. I'll give her that. All right. And there we are. Oh, almost landed on my thing. We don't want that. All right, so we've gotten our 2 holes there. That's not the wrong order. Okay, let's slow down for a second here and just kind of collect ourselves. So what I'm going to do is take this guy out. I need to put a slightly longer screw back in because we're going to put one of these guys in there now. And we just want to make sure that we're not going to be, like, I like getting it so the screw, let me show you what I mean. I don't know if this one's bigger, so it might make it easier. So I hate it when you come up to these things and you thread the thing down and the screw's sticking out like 5 freaking inches. Like if this were threaded all the way down to here and there was that much thread sticking out, I'd be very disappointed. Conversely, you don't want it to be where it's just resting right at the top, even though that's probably just enough, right? So you want there to be a little bit, like 1/8 of an inch, maybe if it's this size of bolt, to a 1/16 of an inch for these smaller ones. So you can't really see it on this one, but these ones are sticking up about you just can't see. But they're sticking up about a 1/16 of an inch. But you can see that the screw itself is proud of the nut. That's the way I like to do it. You do not need 10 miles of freaking thread sticking out. Now, where I do change that rule up is on things that you do not want to fall out. So let me explain that a little bit. Like these guys here. So if I'm using the IEC connectors, or things that if they rattle loose and the user doesn't get to it right away, I don't want it to rattle loose for so long, or for too little, I guess, to the point where it suddenly decides to come out. So with these, I'll use longer threads and stick them out a little bit longer in hopes that it will buy time for the user to be like, okay, enough is enough. I'm going to tighten this up and do what I'm supposed to do and do that maintenance. So there are some things where I will do that with, but everything else where it should never be a problem, or it won't hurt it even if it does come out, I don't worry about it that much. Channel the confidence. I know, right? Okay, let's see here. I got a couple of those out. What I need is a longer screw, so let me move some stuff around here. We're gonna get to those screws here. I can't recall exactly what size it was I used, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't a 1/2 inch. So we're gonna get that guy. We're gonna need this guy, and I think, was it this one? That is the one. All right, let's undo that. So I'm gonna get the low-hanging fruit first, is what I'm gonna do. Or yeah, I guess that's technically the term for it, low-hanging fruit. And if you wouldn't mind staying upright, that would be cool. I said upright. So this is where we'll be able to find out what size screw we use, so I can get the right size one. And that is the same size. So we're gonna put that one back away. And that was the 3/8 that I grabbed out. So now we know that we need to use a 1/2 inch in that spot. Yay. So it will stick out a little bit prouder than I'd probably normally like, but whatever. Okay, got my thing there. We're gonna stick this up through. And we're not catching any plastic. Good. All right. So this one we're gonna kind of put at a little bit of an angle, I believe. I'm debating whether or not I want to put a screw on both sides of it. Yeah, I think I can get away with it right there. Right there. I am going to put a washer. I said screw, but I meant washer. I think I am going to put a washer on each side. I like using washers. To me, it makes sense. I like protecting things. Hey, what do you know? One flew out for me. That was convenient. Ha ha! There we go. There's that. Give me washer. Thank you. And then we want this guy. Now this one here, we only need one lug because we're only plugging 2 things into it, if I recall correctly. So we're going to have the speaker negative. We're going to have the, what else? Actually 3 things. So I don't know that I want to try to fit 3 things into that, so I'll put 2 of these guys on. And I'll split them kind of like that. If you see these things are going to fight me is what it is. And we're going to put this washer on. And then we're going to put this guy on. Don't you laugh at it. So this is where it's going to get fun, is that I got to hold them in place. I got to get the friggin' tool in the thingy. And then I gotta tighten them up. Do the tighten up. There it is. All right, so they've just gotten tight right now. But what I want to try to do is make it so that everything's in line. But I also want to try to hide it as much as I can. So I don't mind, what I'm talking about here is, see how I kind of got them angled out like that? The speaker is going to come in from over here and then shoot up. The ground is going to poke in, right? And it's literally got to go that far. Like, it has nowhere to have to jump. Like, it's just literally, like, it's so close. You get what I mean? Like, it's right freaking there. How convenient is that, right? So that one will have a little wire that literally just jumps up. I might even go just solid wire with that. But, and then the secondary, or not the secondary, excuse me, the screen wire is going to come in and go up in there. So let me double check and confirm my craziness on that though. Let's see here. So we got one for, yep. Okay, so this one is going to have this one, the speaker ground, and that guy. So what we're going to do is use that lug there for the speaker. We'll use that other lug for the one that's right up at the top. We'll use that one for this guy, and then the bottom one we'll use for the screen nodes cap return. It is a long way to go, but it's all good. It's all good. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this out. Let's just see how hidden it will be. So you will just see a little bit sticking out over here. In fact, you probably won't even notice it at all, because by the time this gets put in, I mean, you're not really going to be able to see it. It's going to be so hidden down there. All right. I think it was clever. If you ask me, I thought it was clever. Sorry. Let's, okay. What I'm trying to do is not move those ones because I don't want them to move. So I want them to be tight before I go threading them, because they will turn like they did. I believe that turned. Yeah, it did turn a little bit. So I need to go just a skosh more. There we go. See if that'll fly and not move. We don't want it to move. Yeah, it's just not going to play. Stop moving. Sorry, I'm using my finger to hold them in place so they don't rotate any longer. Damn, that's on there tight. They ain't going nowhere. I'll tell you right now, they ain't going nowhere. So again, you just won't, actually, yeah, you won't see them at all, because I'm so freaking clever. Fuck yeah. Whoop. Oh, another thing too, I should have mentioned it. I didn't mention it, but I opted to go back to this other side. Hey, AC, what's going on, my man? I opted to go back to this other style here. If you recall the other day, I was looking at using this style here with the spade connectors. It's just not going to work. It seemed like a cool idea in theory and in possibly even in practice, but these things just stick out too far, and I had to run that cable off the end there, and I was like, it's so freaking short. There's just no way I'm going to be able to run these together with those to make them removable, which now means that in order for me to install these guys, the back plate now has to be on there permanently. So that is kind of a bummer, but that is what it is. It is what it be, yo. Ow, that freaking hurt. Sorry. I think the 3/8 will be good for the remaining two. Golly. I went to open the lid and the lid caught on my fingernail. And I know you're looking at my fingernail going, Luke, how is that possible? It is still possible. Hey, Colby, how's it going? Thank you for coming on in. Good to see you. All right, so there's one. I need at least two. There's that. And then I need two of these guys here. And I apologize if it looks like I don't know, like it sounds like I'm talking to you like I'm Julia Childs or something. So what we're going to do, we're going to place a screw in the hole here. See? And with the screw in the hole. Is that a good Julia Childs? I used to watch her when I was a kid. I'm probably dating myself by saying that, but if you like Julia Childs, you understand. She was an amazing chef. A British chef. Riley knows who she is. He had a crush on her. I keyed. That was a good one, though. Come on. That was a good one, Riley. You know it. Raise your hand if you've seen Julia Childs. And if you don't know who it is, ask somebody who does. Oh, somebody. Speaking of somebody who's a Julia Childs over in here, there's Huckleberry. I've been seeing your food posts lately. I cannot install those yet though, because these have to go through that, and that is this thing here. So now I got to put the other mark in there. And hope to God I don't move things. And make sure that that is well marked on the bottom there. Burp. Excuse me, but it is a real show now. Didn't take long. All I needed was both the chicas in the house. I'm not doing that. Sorry. That was a bad idea. Sorry. I thought for a second I was being clever. I'm not being clever. Sorry ladies, you are in a man's channel, so we do man things over here. If you didn't already know, it's not a real show until there's a burp. So there is now a burp. So both those holes came out in pretty much the same general vicinity from the edge, so that's good. And both of them managed to clear a weld. So we are really lucky in that regard. Let's get brave and drill holes in a finished piece. Hey, Amber, what? Yeah, you like my cat sticker. Colby was asking about that one the other day. You want to take a guess at what it actually is, outside of the obvious? The wife got it for me, and I was just like, oh, that's cute. I know what I'm going to do with that. So Mr. Cat has been adorning us with his butthole for the last several videos of this series. It's actually a clip chip. If you didn't know, it's a clip chip. So you'll notice that it goes all the way through there where his dirt star might be. So, you know, when you close up the bags of, I guess it's not a chip clip, but it's for bread. It's for bread bags and stuff like that. It's the booty hole plug. All right, so I want to be really, really careful when doing this because this is now a finished piece. So anything that I do to damage it now is really going to make the day firkin' circ. We do not like it when it firkin' circs. So I'm going to attempt to punch some holes in this thing, and God willing, I will not bork anything up. All right? God willing, this thing will actually punch like it's supposed to too. So we're going to just pray to God. That's going to work. And we're going to get this one. Oh, that was a fucking snap. That's how it's supposed to ding. It's supposed to go like kapang. I like that. There it is. All right. Well, next brave move, we're going to start drilling more holes into steel. I have a visitor. Hey, baby. Oh.
Bowl and Soul.
What is Bowl and Soul?
It's apparently a food truck. Support local business.
Ah. Is a bowl of soul?
No, it's a turkey sandwich.
Oh, damn. All right. Thank you, baby. The wife is home early. She brought me a sandwich. Colby, that's how you want to be a future ex-wife. That's what you got to do. You got to bring a sandwich. My apologies. I know I couldn't help myself. The wife's on a roll lately. She's been killing it. So, all right. I sat some drill bits down somewhere. I just can't exactly remember where. You guys talk amongst yourselves while I figure out how I'm going to drill some holes in this thing without furking anything up. I am going to step this one a little bit more than I probably need to, because balls. That's why. I really, really, really don't want to furk this thing up. So we're going to do that for now. And I want to keep those out. So when I'm going through this thing, I want to make sure I kind of go down because I don't want to go in because there is some foam behind that. So we want to make sure we kind of stay away from the foam. But there's one. There's two. God, I hate when it breaks through. It's always such a freaking scary thing. And I got two holes. One is right next to it. Both of them are right next to a goddamn weld. This is gonna suck, but it's gonna work. It's gonna have to work. Of course, they're right next to a weld. But all right, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna be just fine. Dun, 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 dun. It's all right to cry. Crying lets your feelings out. It's all right to cry. All right, just bear with me, everybody. We're gonna get through this here. There's one. Woohoo! Two. It tried. It really tried. All right, I'm gonna go up to 1/8 of an inch. What do we got here? Let's see here. Pouring here since noon. Ooh, boomer. It was supposed to rain in California today. Well, at least where I live, and it has not really rained. It like spit just enough to piss me off, I guess you could say. Okay. Ooh. That one tried to bite. So far, so good, though. I haven't messed up the felt. So inside of there, you can see I got the felt. So that's what I'm trying to avoid, messing up. Now I've only got to go one size larger. I should probably go just a little bit oversized. I will get to the size I have to go to first and then come back on that. And this one seems to be the scariest one, so I'm going to start with this one. Ow. It's hot. There we go. Get off. Okay. I think we're one whole size away from being where I want to be. Now, let's just see how bad it's going to be right now. Yeah, it'll work. It will work. Let's hold off on that. I'm going to do, what do I want to do? I'm going to do this. I want to do, where's my bigger one? There it is. So I'm going to deburr it. is actually pretty good. Probably should have done that last, but or after the fact. Because now what I'm going to have is a little, see, it's all bulged out right there. That's going to stay bulged out unless I figure out a way to resolve that problem. So let me get a different style of whatchamacallit here and see if it does a better job at sort of. It'll function. I don't really want you to be able to see that, and it doesn't look like it's going to be a problem once it gets smashed down on there anyway. All right. Well, shoot, we got everybody here now. I'm kind of liking that. What's up? Noise. All right, let's see here. All right. You didn't get rained on today, did you, AC? Down in Southern California, It was mild up here in the Santa Maria area. Really not much to speak of in terms of getting wet or watery, which is I was expecting real amounts of water and rain. But one hand and angel farts in the other. See which one fills up faster. The answer should be neither. So the next challenge I got is that I need this. So these are actually meant to ground this thing to the chassis. So that's the secondary function, is this does need to ground to the chassis, but I don't want it to ground entirely. So that's why we have this film down here, is to try to keep it from, you don't want steel on aluminum contact. So that is that. But what we're going to do is minimize the amount of ingress that we have in that regard. So let me catch up on the chats a little bit here. Suntan coming along. Oh, we got more people here. There we go. Sister, wife, strong. We got all the ladies in the house. It's kind of amazing, to be honest. I was not expecting to have as many of the ladies in the house as we do. So thank you for coming on in and dealing with my crassness. All right. I am going to try to do something that will probably not make me happy, but I do need to try to get these holes like cleaned up. They are meant to ground, so I also got to deburr them a little bit, but I need to get the tape off, or not tape, excuse me, the paint off around them, so that way they can ground. I thought about using a star nut or something like that, or a star screw, but I don't really like them. I don't like the way they look. This does appear to be working quite well though, so let's see if these are going to fit through the hole, first and foremost, I guess, before I do anything crazy. They're already going to be a brat enough to put in. I think I am going to have to go larger, maybe. That is functioning. That one is going to be grand. Okay, so we got one in the hole. We still got one more to go. Ooh, that one fits fucking perfect too. Yes, let's go. Let's fucking go. Let's go, chat. Come on. Freaking pulling some wins right now, okay? Super excited. Now, the only other thing that can go wrong is that this thing doesn't go in, which it does. It is a little off center though, so I am going to need to enlarge the holes a little bit anyway. So you can kind of see here, it's a little off. So I either didn't drill them in far enough that way, which I knew I needed to do. So what we're going to do is cheat things a little bit to buy ourselves what we want. So I'm going to drill these out just a little bit bigger, like I mentioned I was anyway. And then we're going to drill those out the next size up too, just to give us the room. They're really for not much more than grounding, so they are going to function. almost went perfect though. But if it went any better, that would just be too much to ask. It would be too much to ask if it actually went freaking perfect. But I mentioned I needed to get in that way, and sure as shit, that's where we needed to get. But okay. I don't know why I took that out. I need that one still. All right, let's come back to that in a second. Oh, I can smell my sandwich. It smells so good. I'm gonna have to speed things up a little bit so I can eat my sandwich. Okay. Okay. So let's go. Let's do this. I'm gonna go up in size on this piece here, which I don't know if it's gonna help me much because, to be quite honest, it's probably not. I'm not gonna be able to cheat the holes, but it'll at least buy me a little bit of wiggle room. There's that one. There's that one. All right. And so I want to make sure I get all the metal shards off of here, because if I go to rub something else later, should probably honestly be using a different rag. Things that you should think about ahead of time before you go and do stupid shit like that, but whatever, we're going to work it. We're going to work it out. I work it out. I work it out. I work it out. Okay. There we are. I'll give it to him. That freaking stuff is pretty stout. This insulating sticker stuff I got, it's not tea-bag. All right, let's see if we can bust out the file. I already have it out somewhere. All right. Sorry. Luke needs to make time for the surprise guest that was proposed. I need time, period, man. Holy hell, I need time, just in general. I have been super busy lately. I did get out of a gig this month, though. Not that that's necessarily a good thing. But I did have a tentative, I guess you could say, that it's not that I didn't want to do it, but I was kind of not dreading, but I really wasn't looking forward to it, I guess is the term. It was really tight with something else I got going on right now, and with me trying to get this thing done, I really wanted to just be able to hone in on all this a little bit. So luckily that gig did fall through, which is not a bad thing, as I said. But it is not helping anything either financially, because, you know, I'm not making as much money. But I do have a gig that's going on, and I'm getting something, so I'll take it for what it's worth. Okay, so I'm going to put these screws back in. I know I just took it out, but they do fit in there a little bit nicer now, though. And then we're going to see if we can get this thing to line up where we want. Oh my gosh, get in your freaking hole. Okay. There it is. That's more better. Ta-da. So that will work. I'm okay with that. It does kind of, it's a little off center here and there, but that will function. So I don't know that I want to put those in right now, but I kind of need to, so we can move on. I will need to use longer screws in that, though, which is kind of unfortunate. I don't like using the longer screws, but it is what it is. And I will have to peel back this plastic here too. So now I got to get this thing finished prepping up a little bit. I got to make this so it's smooth on the bottom, that sort of crap. And I don't want to mess up our main side here. We don't want to mess up the Hollywood side. We want it to remain Hollywood is the term, I guess. Part of me wonders if it would be worth it to just cut those out, but because it does not seem to want to play nice. Let's see here. This stuff shreds up a little bit. That's what it is. I think we can make this work though. This one's doing pretty decent right now. Come on. See, the beautiful thing is once you do this once and you document all this crap, right? I want a sandwich too, right? Come on down. So you can imagine, like, if you do this and you document it well enough, you already know ahead of time where you need to put these holes, and then you can put the holes in this first and then move them. Padding under the shield. That is the padding under the shield. I'm using padding on the back of the inside of the shield too, but that's the shield, like, buffer, I guess, if you want to call it that. This thing seems to be taking fingerprints pretty well. So I'm semi-confident with where we're about to go with this thing. Hold on a second here while I see what I can do to make my life even better. I'm kind of in the pressing my luck mood today, I guess is the term. I would love to go with an 11/64. I want to go I want a little more wiggle room is what I'm getting at. So hold on a second here while I see if I can find some more wiggle room. I'm getting greedy right now is really what what I'm getting at. No, not that one. That's definitely not 11/64. I think they gave me 3 or 4 of the same size. This is the one I want. That is the droid I am looking for. Go. Da 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 da. Okay, I'm not going to go any bigger than that. That should give me enough wiggle room. I do want to do this. I do want to use this one this time. And we're gonna go. So I'm not worried if we have to put the power transformer in, but where we're going, essentially, at this moment in time, is that this will go on, which means I can no longer set the chassis down like that, right? So the ease of being able to just throw it up here and work on it is about to go away. And that means doing all the rest of the work is going to be up higher. Not a big deal, that's kind of the goal. But what I want to do is one more little testy fit, but I want to get the right size screws here. So I'm going to go with 1/2 inch for those. These ones, once they go in, they can kind of stay. So yeah, that's good. Good. All right. Then those will go in, interface with that. Yes. Yes. That will function. It's not ideal, but it will function. It's pretty dang close. It's not as close as I would like it, but again, as I mentioned, once you do this once, it gets a lot easier to go back and kind of suss all that stuff out. But I still wish I had made those holes just a little bit further that way, but it is pretty much centered inside of there. These other holes, I got to make the holes bigger. I got to make these ones bigger anyway. So let me just do that and get it over with. Because I know I need those to be wiggled out a little bit. I think those are already 1/4 of an inch. They are 1/4 of an inch. Let's do it the somewhat safer way. We're going to use the unibit, which has the next step up. All right. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okie dokie. Okay. Oakley dokley. Those ones are good. That one looks good. I almost biffed it though. I almost drilled into my thing here. What about the tragedy? What tragedy? I don't know no tragedy. I'm just a dude. I just fucking make a bunch of noise. Racket. Get in your home. There it is. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, what we get to do is this. I'm going to go from, I guess from here. And I'm just going to go all the way out to here. And all the way out to here. There we go. And what we're going to do is undo all that. So we got to peel all that crap off is what we're going to do now. At least I hope that's what we're going to do. Yeah. Hopefully this stuff will tear on my line. Probably won't, but whatever. Once this thing goes on, its intention is to be permanent. So, like I say, I'm taking a pretty big step here because this is now, what do they call that? Permanent. It's permanent. So any marks that get put in this zone now are permanent. Anything I do at this point is permanent. So we want to try to minimize as much as we can all the contact with this zone, if you will, etc., etc., yada yada yada. Dun, dun, dun. So we're gonna double check and make extra sure that there are no shards of steel. I thought I felt something. I did. No steel there. No steel there. All right. Oh yeah, she looked good. She looked real good. Dun, 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 dun. I did that song the other day, but ooh baby, baby. Ooh baby, baby. I kind of want to. I'm going to do something here real quick. This is also dangerous what I'm about to do, but I'm going to do it anyway. I want to deburr those just a little bit better. But I also don't want to touch it any more than I need to. All right. Sir, this part is going to be sucky. Let's see here. Getting eradicated. Ooh. Anyway, let's see here. I kind of want to... I'm going to do some work on this still. There's a little bit left to go here. I am seeing something I don't like. Is Andy in here too? There he is. I am not nervous. I just don't want to frick things up. I just don't want to mess anything up. But we are going to attempt to deburr this a little bit. That's pretty dang good. Wish there was a better way to get in there. I guess there is, but it's risky. It's risky. It's risky. To rock around and rock around. It's risky. Risky, risky, risky. Rock around, rock around. It's risky. Get the fuck in your hole. Get the fook in your hole. Get the fook in your hole. Alright. There's that. Stay. This is the moment I've kind of been waiting for a long while now, to be honest. I was excited to be able to put this on. I know we really didn't talk it up much, but reality of it is, this is a pinnacle moment in this build. Now, the other challenge I got for me right now is flipping this thing over without borking it up any more than I already have. Sir, part of me wonders if I should give this a shot to see if this will work for me. We're just going to do that. I just want it to stay put. I don't know how well it's going to work, but we just want it to stay put. You know what? Another thing I'm going to do. Excuse me. Oh, I can still smell my sandwich, you guys. It smells so good. So good. Alright. Alright. This guy is my little amp cradle, if you will. So this is going to go here. And you can see now that that screw, it tried to run on me. And I think I can reach in there. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. All right, so we're going to have one that goes out that way. And we're going to have one that goes, where the hell did I put them all? I had them. Oh, I think I used them all is what it is. I need to get more out. That's what we need to do. Give me just a second while I get some more shit prepared here. All right. This is becoming real. It's becoming a real amplifier. I'm a real boy. Come on. Give me. I got 2 for that. I want 2 for the other one. So I need 1 more. Come on. Apparently I need to buy some more of these. Thought I had some more somewhere, but whatever. Oh, my sinuses are peeved right now too. Not helping anything. And if you wouldn't mind. Alright. Ooh, we might need more than... Yeah. That will work. That will work. Okay, so now... You little bitch! Get the... Sorry. Lost my cool for a second. You're like, Luke, that's not funny. But you don't understand, see? You don't understand. Click. And this one's going to go slightly different. I think this one's going to kind of go like that almost. We'll decide a little bit more as we get closer where they're exactly going to go. For now, I just want to get this thing kind of held in place, if you will. Night, Huck. Take care. Have a wonderful evening. Ooh, check the smoker. What kind of sandwich? I know it's probably a turkey sandwich. Hold on. I'll tell you right now. Ooh, it is smoked turkey on wheat. That's what it looks like to me. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. Mm-hmm. Sorry, everybody. I'm going to eat. I'm going to have a bite. That's probably all I'm going to have. Try to make it just a little bit jello. It actually is really good, though. Mm-hmm. Really good. All right. And I know with my mic setup, you can probably hear me crunching away on everything too. Oh yeah, I got it in the hole. Okay. So there's two things that have to happen here. First and foremost, I got to get these things tight and aligned where I want them. That's one. The second thing I need to have happen is that I need the piece itself, the shield, to be aligned with where I need it as well. So it's a two-part kind of deal, which makes it less than freaking fun. So I'm just trying to do like a little soft set, if you will. I don't want it to be super permanent, but I want to be able to move these around a little bit. That one I'm not as worried about, but I need to be able to slide the top piece around. And I get the feeling that it'll be able to slide around a little bit anyway, because of that, what you want to call it, that I have on there. The shield, or insulator. Okay. I'm confident now that this isn't going to go anywhere, but the amp's already gotten heavier. And I want to get this tape off as soon as I can because I don't want it to impose itself on anything we got going on here. So I can see that the one side needs to move a little bit already in more or less that direction. But it wants to move-ish. That's not too bad, to be honest. Let me see here. Let me get my bolts. So that will help a lot too. These will, dang it, get in there. Yeah, I know it's going to be tight. I knew it was going to be tight, but I might have to enlarge in those other holes a little bit more. This one seems to not want to move as much. It's the center one, though, that's actually is the one that it's rotating around. So I have an option. I can either enlarge the hole a little bit more on this center one to make it so I got just a little more wiggle room, or because it looks like it'll give me what I need in the one orientation. But where it is right now, it will fit. But I'm really trying not to move this around anymore. I should have probably done this before I tore the plastic off, to be honest. But it is pretty well centered right there. Let's see if I can get those other screws in. Or other bolts, I should say. If these won't go, then we're in trouble. That one went. They will go. I need to either go larger, or like I say, I just need to enlarge in that one hole a little bit. So I think what we're gonna do is play it a little bit smart. I'm gonna make that hole just a little bit bigger, so we don't have to tempt fate. Sir, guess what? You know how I done it right? Done it twice. So we're gonna take this thing back off again and make sure we get it right. Oh, but yeah, this thing is starting to become a thing. It's getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Now, what I think I'm going to do, I don't know if I want to or not, but maybe I can get away with it. Get in there. So what I can do, let's see if that's just all it was that it was too tight. Before I go too crazy. And let's see here. Maybe I'll get lucky. Maybe I'll get lucky. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna drill that hole out just a little bit larger, just a itty bitty bit larger. We got the space. You can't see it. We're gonna do it. So less than ideal, but we're gonna do it. That's just gonna be the smarter thing to do, methinks. As much as it sucks to have to mess with this a little bit more, but are you? Yes. This cradle's freaking awesome, man. I love this cradle right now. Where art thou? If I put a little hair around it, I might find it. Hosted by John. Oh, no, this one's the giveaway amp. This one's the giveaway amp, Amber, yes. This one is going away to some lucky winner somewhere out there. Somewhere out there. Alright. And let's see here. I don't want to lose anything anymore that I've already lost. There you go. Okay. Alright, so we're going to bust out the drill gun just one more time here. We're just going to go a wee bit bigger. I think I already went kind of that size, so we need to go up. We're going to go to this size. I don't think this is that size, though. Let's find out. That is that size. Okay. I'm not crazy. That's a good sign. I'm just a little crazy. Just a little cray. There we go. That's the one we want. Boo doo boo boo boo. Okay. I'm gonna be brave. No, I'm not. I want, where did I put it? I'm gonna use a different one this time though. How's that? We're gonna go with this guy. All right, holes, drilling now. We are gonna go up one more. Get in there. I'm pretty sure this is the next size up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh boy. That was a little freaky. And I just kissed the freaking the whatchamacallit that time, the felt. You can't really see it. It's in such a spot you'll never really see it anyway, because it's buried inside of there. There's gonna be a transformer right there. Hey, how's it going there? Where would I get the cabinet for the YD chassis faceplate with a box to go over the tubes? Well, that you'll have to talk to Andy about, because the Cerberus build, which was the one that you saw, which was built by Andy and then redone under my tutelage. Redone, no, that's not the term I wanted to use. Under Andy's tutelage, I guess if you will, to be redone by me. That amp is a one-off, so it's a one of one. So it's not quite as simple as, hey, I want XYZ. So you're gonna have to talk with Andy about what it is exactly you want to do for your needs. 'Cause I am just a dude. I am wearing Andy's shirt tonight is what it is. So I am actually of legacy amplification fame. I say of legacy amplification fame as if I were famous. I am not famous yet. But there we go. I am wearing Andy's shirt tonight for YDNA. I am representing, if you will. You may have missed it, but earlier in the video I was teasing that I was wearing the shirt to channel my inner decisiveness. Andy's pretty good about just going with, his gut or whatever, just do it. I am, on the other hand, a little more timid in that regard. So I tend to perhaps overthink things and make it more complicated than it needs to be for what it is. Over-engineer, I guess, if you will. And it makes my work a little bit slower. But I don't like doing things twice. And as you can see, we're doing things more than once because I probably just need to slow down and just need to slow down. But I need to get shit done. This amp we need to make some progress on it. And this is one of those things I need to do to make that progress. So I am going to, I want it to be kind of like that. So here's what I mean by that. So you can kind of see they're kind of like tilted out. I know, I apologize. Like my angle of the dangle's changed a little bit. Okay. So I got them kind of done out kind of like that one there, but the objective is to try to hide as much as I can underneath that guy, and what do you know, it disappears pretty much. But what it is that there's two wires that are going to come from here. They're going to cruise along here, and then they're going to shoot and tie in right there, right? So you'll just be able to see them a little bit, probably hanging out just on the outside and on the inside there, but there'll be some other components there, whatever. And then this other wire here is going to shoot in from underneath, and I kind of want it to stick out a little bit, but I kind of like that it's hidden too. The problem with doing what I'm about to do, which is hiding it like that, is how the hell do you solder that now? I cannot solder that, which means if you ever need to get to it, you're kind of borked, because that means you got to tear this thing off, which is kind of dumb. More or less, I can't build this until after all this other stuff is in. So now you can kind of see why we're going the direction we are with trying to get this on there and all this other stuff done. Remember, we were talking about this amp is going to require a particular order to put it all together. Well, that's part of the reason why. If I redo this amp, if it turns into a production option, which it could, but if and it does, in the future, I will have a 2-inch deeper chassis. And with a 2-inch deeper chassis, my expectation would be that I can get away with a slightly better layout in that regard, in terms of repairability or just installation, if you will. So I want these to be like that. I want them to be a wing, if you will. But everything's gonna fight me today. There we go. I'm starting to get some pressure now. All right, so now what we're gonna do is flip this over and make sure it's centered well. Looks like we're a little bit better this time than we were the last time too. There we go. All right, so, oh yeah, much, much better. That is actually centered right now. Yay, okay. So what we can do is kind of see that by, I still need to make those holes underneath a little bit larger apparently, but all the other ones seem to be fitting just fine. I'm also trying not to thread it in there, but that hole's being a little stubborn. I might need to just go up one more size on it, but let's see if we can get it to go. Is it gonna go? Yeah, it'll go. Okay, there it is. And I know you can't really see the other side there, but those are the holes. But you can kind of see it's pretty well centered over the things. Ah, we did it. All right, let's get these things out of here. So here's the fun part of this whole kit and caboodle is that I kind of need to put the transformer in at the same time as I screw this thing in, because the transformer goes right along here and it goes all the way. This guy here, I've got to somehow fit inside of there and be able to get it back out. So I got to tighten all these things. I got to tighten those up as tight as I can get them while still making it so that this thing is centered where I want it. And it's pretty dang close right now, so I'm just going to go for it. We're going to call it good. These are lined up where I want them. So, yeah. Let's just do this. This is probably a stupid question, but if I wanted to add another KT88 to the YDA, I could not begin to tell you. I don't know which design you're referring to. Now, I know you may not be directing that question to me, but I don't know that Andy is still in the chat. So that is a question that is definitely more pointed to him. So I'm not going to answer for him, but I can tell you right now, you're not going to add another KT88. Short answer is I wouldn't plan on it. Click. Short answer is no. But I would defer to Andy's mind on that. It's not as simple as you think it is. There's more to it than just I have a hole or I have the space for it. There is math, believe it or not. Oh man. Okay, now on the camera, because I have the chroma key, it's weird. It looks like there's red spreckles in there. It's not red spreckles, they're actually just little dimples, but there it is. That thing is in place. It is looking mighty fine. Do we get brave and just stuff this thing in the hole? I kind of feel like we're at that point where we just may as well get it over with. It's gonna hurt right now, but we're gonna have to just get brave and do this. The beast. Let's see here. This guy is going in this orientation here. So we're gonna stuff this down in there. Oof, that was what I did not want to do. I should probably have covered this thing up a little bit more, to be honest. This thing is kind of heavy. And I don't want to drop it. Knock it the fuck off. And that will go like this. Whew, that is just gonna fit. So I've got some foam up there on the top. I gotta like swedge it in there a little bit. That's what's kind of going on right now, is I gotta squeeze it behind that foam there. There it is. Okay, now I Hope to God I got the right freaking bolts. There were some different bolts that I needed. And I can't remember where I put the ones that I wanted. There was a particular size that I had to get, and I thought these are the ones that I got out for that. I wasn't expecting to get this far along tonight, is more or less what I'm getting at. So now I'm behind, or I'm ahead of my thought process. So I don't want to bore you to death while I look for this and make sure I got what I was looking for. Where did I put those damn things? Here they are. There's that. That's not the one. Oh, it is this one. Okay. Fuck, my sinuses are so peeved. Okay, I believe these are the ones I'm looking for. These are the size that I purchased that is the correct size. Okay. So we're going to have a nice fat washer on each corner. If you wouldn't mind. There it is. Oh, well, be helpful, to be honest, if I put the dang washer on. Yay. All right. There it is. Okay. One. I gotta get these inside ones too. Yay. This one was also not fun because I had to basically get in it at an angle. Let's come back to that one. This one is going to go here. I don't know exactly how this is going to work out. I knew I was going to have fun getting these bolts in here, but I was hoping it wasn't going to be quite as tight as it is. Oh, that one just fell right in. I love that. Oh yeah, this thing's getting heavy now. Holy hell. And we got one more to try to get back in there. That one's also going to be freaking less than fun. All right. Okay, let's see here. Oh boy. Okay. Let's see here. Can I get you to work for me? Okay, that one's in. This one's trying to go in. And I know it will. It's just a matter of getting it. So I'm fighting multiple things right now. What it is that the base, I showed you before, but the base of this thing, I mean, it's like dopey-eyed. So I've got that. I've got the inconsistency of my own work while trying to all make it fit. And then I've screwed that in rigid enough now that it is essentially permanent. But the last thing is, okay, that will work. Oh yes, we did a good job. We did such a good job. All right. So now what I got to do, there it is. So the last part of what I get to work on that's going to be less than fun is trying to make sure that this is centered as well. And I know your angle of the dangle is not helping your situation in being able to see that much, but I'm going to get the low-hanging fruit really quick. I'm going to get to the screws that I can get to, more or less. And I'm going to pray to God that's not sticking up too far. It seems like we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be okay. I guess we'll have to come back to that one. That one's going to... This one here is a question... You can't see it. This screw in this position here is going to be a question mark. The reason I say that is because... there was one of these that's like really, really close to the turret board. And obviously that is not a good thing. So what I'm going to do is tighten this thing up with the two that I know that I can get tight. And then we'll come back to it. And I believe that is this size. Nope. Can't remember what size these are, to be honest. I don't think them... It's that size. Okay, it's this size. Oh my gosh. And then I want the right hex bolt nut thing size for it. It's not that one. Apologize, everybody. I'm working it out, okay? I'm working it out. Real time here. 7/16. Okay. So, low-hanging fruit. We're just going to tighten up a couple of these so that this thing won't take off on me here. And then we'll come back around and... thanks! Holy cow. Did you see that? It just like jumped out of my hand. Alright. And let's see here. And that's just, it's snug, it's not tight. Just FYI. I'm not trying to kill anything yet. And this one, ooh, that just fits. What do you know? Again, just snug. It's just to keep it from falling out. Okay. So. Yes. Yes. There it is. Oh my God, that thing's gonna be a bitch. All right, that kind of makes sense there. So this guy's gonna come out and go up along there. This guy here is, these three in fact are literally gonna go right freaking here. Like they're going to right where my finger's at. This is that one I was telling you was gonna go literally to right there, to this little lug. So with all that being said, you really won't see a whole heck of a lot. Now what I need to make sure about, and I'm already pretty certain based on what I can tell, is that this nut right here isn't going to ingress into my turret. So it's starting to look like an amp now, huh? So let's see here. That is essentially all the way up. Oh yeah, we're golden. Yeah, we're golden. Trying to get a gauge for how high up it is. And we've got a good 1/8 of an inch or more. Clear. All right. And let's get this one going. Now that one there, I got to give me my finger back. I got to do it in an order because I don't think I'll be able to get the bolt around it without having it threaded down a little bit. I don't really want to take that thing back out, but let's see what we can do here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get clever with it. Might even need to go out with it. Yeah, let's get a little bit further there. Sorry, I know I'm burying myself behind the things here, but what do we got? There's 12 of you in here? Oh my gosh. Facebook.com, Andy Lederman. What you got going on over there? Facebook? There it is. Maybe that will give me enough space. That's what we need, just a little bit of space. Oh my freaking God. I just need a little bit more. There it is. Maybe that'll do it. It moved. I got a wiggle out of it. So all I need is a little wiggle. There it is. All right. It's going to be less than fun to put on, of course, but it will function. Oh, come on. It's going to make me work. It's going to make me freaking work. Sorry, we're going to go around the other direction here. That might make it a little bit easier. Yeah, what do you know? All right, so that is a 7/16. Here's a 5/8, 14 mil, 7/16. There you are. You dirty little. All right, so, oh gosh, how do I want to do this? I know I got the room underneath here, so let's try this. Never mind me while I work things out here. That's not doing what I want it to do, though. It's like a toiga, and I don't like it. So I think what I need to do, what it's trying to do is twist in at an angle. I need to thread it in as opposed to doing what I'm doing right now. That's loose. But, all right, going back around. Oh, fudge. That thing is heavy. Heavy duty. Oh, come on now. Heavy duty. What is that song? Is that freaking, what's that? Spinal Tap. Heavy duty. Pretty sure that's Spinal Tap. All right, I'm gonna get you so you get a nice shot of my nose. All right. Yeah, that's the right way. That's working. Yeah. Golly, that's freaking. It's gonna be less than fun later. I can tell you right now. So now what I got going on that's hurting me is the bolt is rubbing into my capacitor freaking holder there. It's all gonna work out. It's just, you know, there it goes. Ta-da. There it goes. Starting to get some suck up action here. I love the suck up action. There it is. All right. Okay. And it gets just to it. I love that. That's going to be so freaking awesome. Freaking awesome. It's nice when things work the way they're supposed to. And would you mind getting in your freaking hole? All right. Click. All right. Yes. All right. Just a couple more of those to go. I don't think I'm going to have to move it, to be honest. It's looking pretty good where it's at in terms of placement. Click. The hope is that we don't ever have to take this thing out ever again, because right now, if I have to take this thing out, life is going to suck. I don't like it when life sucks. Click. All right. I think there's only one more of these to really reef on. I think I got this first one, but let's double check on that. Make sure. We'll do some round robin action here. Yes, we got it. So this one here, I don't know what I'll be able to really pull off with that one. That one's going to be less than fun, but it will. Come on, hold still. Click. That is definitely toit. All right, let's just double check on a couple things. So this guy here is going to shoot out this way, go underneath. I'll probably go actually on this side of it, because I can have it there. It'll hold things in place. So that'll go kind of like so. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how this is going to look. But you kind of see how it's looking like it's just going to pop out that way. It looks like that's not going to be the way to go, though. I kind of want it to land on the inside of that nut. Give me that nut. Give me that nut. What group is that? It's not Two Life Crew, is it? Give me that nut. Give me that nut. I'm completely aging myself right now. I think that's Two Life Crew, though. I could be wrong. My wife would know. She's into that kind of music. All right. So, again, to kind of reiterate what's going on here, this will go outside this way, and then very quickly take a left-hand turn and go to Never Never Land, or left at Albuquerque, or whatever you want to call it. So that's going to go there pretty much like that. These guys here, god damn, I couldn't have done that any better, could I have? That is so freaking awesome. Oh my god. Awesome. So this goes like this right here. And this green and red wire is going to go along here and into that. Sorry. Something's in my throat. All right, this red and purple wire are literally going to go to these first three right here. I super duper like I don't know how much shorter you can make that. I mean, that is almost too short, to be honest. So the red wires will go like literally right there in those two, and this purple wire will land on this third one over here. This green wire here, like I say, it's for the heaters. It's going there. This red and green one there is going to get hidden by that, whatchamacallit. This one's going to have a connection that goes right in this section here, so you'll never really see it much. Since we are this far along, let's get another transformer put in. What do you think about that? So we've got the output transformer. So the power transformer is in. That is permanent. That thing is never meant to come back out again. Let's double check and make sure I got everything nice and square, and just kind of clean it up a little bit here. So at this point, I got to be pretty careful. This thing is awful heavy at the moment. But yeah, doesn't ring too much. It is just up and over. It is encroaching very slightly. Wow. I got one little chip here I don't like, but we'll have to come back and clean that up. Yeah, that landed out really well. Honest to God, I don't think we could have done any better with that. I know you guys can't really see that. I apologize. And it's very difficult for me to show you, but right? That makes sense. See how it's all nice and square on the backside there. Now the front I did have it come off the front a little bit. This is the line of the first tube here. So I wanted to make sure that first tube was certainly going to be, off limits to anything. This is meant to be a shield to shield any kind of electromagnetic EMI stuff that's going on with this power transformer here. So that is its job, is to get rid of EMI. It's also because I got a bunch of tubes right directly smack dab in the middle of it. It's not quite ideal to be doing it the way that I did. Again, it won't change much even if I used a bigger chassis. The only thing that matters is that I would be able to get this further back and these further forward. That's about it. That's the only difference, I guess you could say. So let's see about getting this guy in. Sorry, bopping around, making a bunch of noise and racket and stuff. Okay, this guy here, we want this to be on the outside. We need this to have the shortest possible run. And since I am going to run in, since the wires are going to run in, we need it to be kind of in that orientation. So, just going to take these guys and stuff them in the hole. what's going on here. I see some activity. I'm going to wait to braid these ones until after I get them in. Usually I braid them before, but I have to make some decisions first. Now, that is a 50-watt transformer. So keep that in mind. A 100-watt transformer might be just a little bit bigger. I mean, it would take up maybe this entire space, but this is still the power transformer. This thing is a beast. What tubes are going in this unit? This is going to have EL34s. That is what I'm designing it around, is EL34s. You can probably go with some other units, but I'm going to go with 2 different lengths on this for right now. We may need to replace these with another option later. So I'm going to use, I believe it's the 3/8 on these front ones here. Excuse me, the back ones there. Because the wonderful Wizard of Oz. I want to try to use these nuts here to mount some wire clamps. So I need the nuts to be a little bit longer so I can double stack the bolts on them. But I don't know that that's going to work. So I'm just going to get out a bunch of freaking, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and at least another 4. There we go. We're going to see if this is going to work. I might need to order some longer threaded screws. Maybe. I don't know yet. We'll see how I feel once I get them in there. Click. And these ones are nice. So I use stainless steel parts where possible, because I like not rusty stuff. That is a me thing. I just use stainless steel. That 18/8 stuff is hard to beat. And the 18/8 doesn't really gall up either, like some of that other stuff does. Another added bonus, if you will. Okay, so we want to get this thing nice and centered like. And let's go ahead and get the back ones on first. So this one's going to be interesting. Maybe not. I think this might work out, actually. I thought this was going to be a little bit more of a pita. But I might need to go with longer. No, that'll function. It doesn't stick out quite as much as I'd like it to, but I can change my mind once I get it on. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Baby. Da, 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 da. Ooh, 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 yeah. Let's get it on. Oh, we are sensitive people. I'm messing around, I'm sorry. I was not being serial. My wife thinks I have a wonderful voice and that I should sing more. That's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. I want this one this time. And that is going the right direction. And we're just gonna do it like this. Beat around the bush. Yeah. Let's get it on. Let's see here. I kind of want to undo that a little bit. So now I have the opportunity to kind of straighten this thing out a little bit, but I'm sorry. I know you guys can't really see a whole hell of a lot. Thank you for hanging in there with me, but what do you got here? So what twos will we go? Again, EL34s for the power, and then 12AX7s for the rest. Yes. So yeah, there's nothing super crazy going on with this one. We're not using rare tubes. So this is a giveaway amp, so I'm not trying to make it so like bespoke or, you know, oddball that like nobody can, you know what I mean, like get a hold of the parts or something like that. So it is sane in that regard, I guess, if you will. All right, let's see here. I need to loosen that up just a skirsh. And I am gonna have to get some different whatchamacallits for this, unfortunately. Longer bolts. And I don't know that I actually have any in stock. I might have to order some, but what I want to do is make sure this thing is nice and centered like. And I think we are nice and centered like. I also want to make sure I got enough room on the sides here. So this right here actually has about 1/2 inch. This one here is a little on the tight side. So I'm gonna it over just a little bit. We'll be all right. Either way, we're gonna be all right. But or do I just be a dick and go with it all the way over? Kind of what I intended for it to be. No, I want it to be somewhat centered. I want to say right there. Two of the nuts I'm not that worried about. I'm probably going to change them out for longer ones, but right now I just want to get this thing so I can turn it over. But I can already tell these ones are cutting close on terms of how tight they are. And then this, click. There we go, there's that one. It's just tweet. Not tweet, but just tweet. Click. Alright, so now we can get a sense of how that's going to hold in place for me. So, open around. Golly, it's starting to get heavy. Yeah, I think we're going to have to go with longer, but my intention was that would go there. Like that. Yeah. Like that right there. And that we would be able to get another washer and a thing on it. But it is not long enough, but it does hold it right where I was hoping it would. So that's good. And then this one would just go there. But you can kind of get an idea. Those aren't long enough. Neither are these. So those are 3/8. I'm going to have to replace the 3/8 with 1/2 inch. And then what I'm going to need to do, what size are you? Those are M7. No, those won't work. So I'm going to have to order yet more parts because that's my life. It's my life. Uh-oh. I think we got a wife coming in. Hello. Yay! Another meeting? Yeah. Wait, what's this one? City Hall? Or the trails? City Council? Oh, boy. Have yourself a blast, why don't you? All right, love you. Thank you for the sandwich. So, the wife is pretty involved with local and community governments, if you will. She is off to a city council meeting. Fun stuff. We are not political in that regard, but we do kind of take care of things as needed. She's a part of two different things. City council and what is our trails committee over here. So we have a trails committee as well that she's a part of. The wife is a busy girl. During the day, she works as a, so she houses, her job is to house homeless veterans. So I'm saying veterans, well, I say veterans, I mean veterans, but you know what I mean. Like, her job is to house veterans. Click. So for those of you who are uninitiated as to what I'm talking about or what I mean by that is, when you go into the military, and I'm talking to those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, but when you go into the military, if you get out, depending on how you get out, you have some level of service connection, or like you come out service connected, right? If you're discharged, because sometimes you're discharged medically or whatever it might be. Grandis Glorious Tone might know because he's in the military. But in either case, when you get out, you're granted some level of connection. That connection depends what kind of services that you have available to you. So, you know, sometimes individuals come out and they're not all there. They end up with some sort of medical issue, you know, be it mental or physical, and then they end up, of course, either homeless or in some level of despair, or they get older, and as they get older, they just don't have the means to take care of themselves. So some of them end up homeless. Well, that is the predominant role of my wife, is to get these individuals service connected and off the streets. So fun stuff like that. My apologies, and thinking and all that fun stuff. Really? Fuck. Get on there. There it goes. All right. And click. You want it tight, but you don't obviously want to freaking try to kill it. So what I need with these ones here is, if this is 1/2 inch, like it's right at the end of it, so I need like another 1/4 of an inch easily. So I'm looking for a 3/4 inch to even a 7/8 inch. I'm probably going to go with a 7/8 inch. So I need to get a 7/8 inch 632. That is not your problem. I will deal with that in due time. But so this guy here, this is the part that I was kind of starting to worry about. So one of these, it doesn't matter which one. I might even do both this way, because these are going to get, really, it went in the one damn hole. These are going to get braided up. They're going to go this way and around over to here. And they're going to go to the impedance selector there. And then, of course, ultimately the output jacks, which are here. I apologize. I know this is all kind of getting tight over here. Now, these ones, one of them needs to go all the way over to here. And as you can see, it ain't going to make it unless it goes through, like straight through this way. But I don't want to run it that way. So I'm already going to have to extend one of these whether I want to or not. But the other two, I may or may not need to do that. So one of them needs to go, it's pin 3. I always get pin 3 and 5 mixed up. Pin 3 is the plate. Pin 5 is the grid. I always get them mixed up though. I don't know why, I don't know how, but you know, one of those things. It's a bunch of freaking random numbers, so you just sometimes don't always remember. And of course, different tubes have different pinouts too. So anyway, so these might crissy-cross like that in one way or another right down in here. And then one of them will go literally just bang right into there. That's pin 3 right there. So it'll just go bloop right into it. And then the other one, I have the option of coasting around kind of like this perhaps, and then having it shoot up into that one, right? Like I can do something like that. Again, it'll be kind of hidden a little bit behind this guy here, right? A lot of this stuff can go underneath. I believe it is the white one that is the plate, if I'm not mistaken. So this goes in this orientation here. So that blue wire I was talking about would kind of just tuck underneath and hide in there, and then it just pop back out at the last second to go in. All right, so I could do that, okay? Or I may have enough length to go out and around. This is what I'm going to try to suss out right now. So if I go out and around and over, and as we can see, I will not have enough length. If I go, I'd love to go around the backside, to be honest. That would be the ideal way to do it. One of them will work that way, right? And just pop up kind of like that. Go out and around and up, and then everything would come out and around that direction. But I don't know. I'd love to kind of go like this. So I might have to extend a couple of these, which kind of sucks because it may as well just extend all three if I'm going to do that, which is to say I'll have to cut it like back here a little ways and then use, you know, new wires to get it as far as I need it. And, you know, these will be tucked up in such a way down here that you'll never really notice the fact that it goes from this wire to the new wire, which then gets you out as far as I need to go. It's the unfortunate part, but that is the reality of it. But so far, today has turned into a productive day. Quite smitten. Now this is a cool little coinkydink right here. Where that is, that's going to go right there. Boop. What are you not going to see much of, if at all? That guy ain't going nowhere. You can't see it. The ground is going to come down off of this. It's going to go right down into that and follow it along and come out over here. That's what this little ground spot, actually it's this one here, I believe. But in either case, that's what that's going to do. So that one's kind of a cool little whatever. So you can see how I've tried to engineer this thing to make it so everything is like hidden, tucked away, yada, yada, yada. Short runs. I can make it shorter by taking this and going straight across, like I say. But it's just, to me, it would be a little interesting to have wires kind of going across like this. And it'll also make it much more difficult to hide them if I go like that too. So, I am going to cut the ends of these off because I don't want it to scratch things up, because I can already tell that's what it's going to freaking do. So we're just going to nip the tips. And let's see here. I am kind of starting to get hungry. I can still smell my sandwich. Hold on, I'm going to have another bite with you guys. Never mind me. They put a whole bunch of like meat on there too. I got fat. The stack of meat is almost double the amount of other stuff in there, the veggies. So let's see here. Let's get caught up on the chat. I'm sorry, you guys. I haven't really been paying attention to you much. I'm kind of in my own little world. I'm going to be honest in saying I don't know how I managed to talk to you this whole time. But, all right, what do we got? It's not uncommon. Okay. I wouldn't twist the OT plate wire together. I heard it's bad practice. I've always done it. I don't know if it is or not. Maybe it is. I don't know. But then again, I don't usually end up with like the full length of wire. You know, I usually end up with like just like a, 3 or 4 inches. So maybe it's just non-incidental in that case. I wish I knew a little bit more for certain on that. But I'm going to cut these to right there because why not? Let's chit chat for a minute. We're in a spot. I'm calling it done right now. Okay. So we've gotten to a really good spot. I'm not going to cut those ones because I know I need to keep those as long as I can. But let me get some cleanup done here and get some, safety kind of measures taken care of here. This thing is going to get less than fun to deal with here in short order. Oh my. So I've got every time I set this thing down, I've got like a 1/4 inch lip that it's got to sit on every freaking time. So at this point in time, that's looking pretty straight, to be honest. So, yeah, there it is. It's starting to look like a real amp now. I guess what I can do, hold on, let's do this. At least get you a little bit more of an angle over the dangle on it. Sorry, ladies. But that was another burp. Because I'm a disgusting ODB. Alright, there we go. Ta-da! Ta-da! I can't really tell. It could be my eyes. Maybe not. I'm hoping that's on there straight. Oh my god. That is on there nice and straight. I will accept those terms. It is, what, a 32nd of an inch off at the ass end over there. Maybe even less than that. My goal, just for those of you who know, is to be within a 32nd of an inch on any given point. That's the amount of air I give myself. And as you know, I didn't try to align that bitch to anything else other than getting it in there. So for it to be within that freaking close, I'm super stoked. This one here, there's not really a way to measure it, but based on what the eyeball can see, it is quite nice. All right. My only fear is how this thing is going to travel, but it is pretty solid. I got one little nick that I managed to get there. We'll clean that up. That's an easy enough fix. I have some of the paint left over, and I found with this stuff here is it does a pretty good job of melting back into itself. Sloth! There you are! Late as always at the last minute, but you're here, so that's the important part. You kind of missed out on some good stuff, man. We made a fair amount of progress today. We've talked, just to kind of go over everything with everybody, since we've got probably the group of people here that we're going to get. We have decided to go with this style of bias probe thing after all. It's just going to be the only easy way to manage things. We have installed the shield. We have installed the power transformer and the output transformer. I'm at a point now where turning this thing upside down is not practical any longer. So I now have to be rather careful and deliberate in moving this thing around. But we are one step closer to the real deal. So let's see here. What am I getting a bunch of emails about? I got some stuff from John there. Okay, let's see here. Special services. Okay. Yep. Extending the wires is not uncommon. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. Ultimately, I think that's where we're going to go. So, objectively, you want the wires to be just as short as practical. When I say as short as practical, I just mean that you don't want to run it 10 miles around the side of the chassis for all willy-nilly, right? Like, you want to try to get things to land so they're just practical. Now, not everything is always practical, so that's why I say practical. And then Grant, of course, is mentioning how to get into the competition. I did update on this video only so far. I need to go back and update the remainder of them, or all the previous ones I've done. It's really simple. This is a sweepstakes, and it technically is because it's a random chance drawing, right? Everybody that gets an entry in has a random chance of winning. The way the random chance is done is that you send a video, a short video. We don't need your life story. We just want to know who you are. Hi, my name is Luke. I've been playing guitar for 30 some odd years. I've been into, I've owned all kinds of different amplifiers, but this is something I'm interested in. Hey, check out this rig I got right here. Check it out. I got this and I got this pedal board over here. I want to get into the competition. Or it's not even a competition, but the sweepstakes. That's it. Like literally 15, 20 seconds or something like that. We don't need any details about you other than who you are. My name is, I play guitar, here's my rig. That's it. Send it to toshysweetstaffy@gmail.com. He's put the thing up in there, I think. Yes, he did. toshysweetstaffy@gmail.com. Must be present on the day of the giveaway. Okay, that part is important. You must be present on the day of the giveaway. It will be very well documented. If you are not subscribed to this channel and or to Grant Us Glorious Tones channel, you are putting yourself at a great disadvantage. It is not a requirement for you to. We learned that we cannot require you to subscribe in order to enter the competition. So subscription is not a requirement, but since you need to be present on the day of the giveaway, it's going to benefit you to be sure that you are, so that you can get those details. Now, we understand that there are some people that might have a tough time with that. We are going to try to schedule it at such a time where everybody in the world has no excuse but to be there. And again, if it's something that you want to win that bad, it is free. You're going to be there. If it's 2 a.m, I apologize. That will fucking suck. But if I have to be up at 2 a.m. to be a part of it, I will be. So obviously we're going to probably try to do this on like a Saturday night or something like that, or a Friday night. But you'll have plenty of warning if you're subscribed to know when that will be. That will get worked out. We're still months away. This is at least going to be June or July at the soonest, probably, before this is getting, not raffled, but sweepstakes away. The last requirement is another one that we can't force you to do. Obviously, we can't use your data for anything else other than for this giveaway here. But we're not going to post your video. Just to clarify some things, I know it's kind of late in the game here. We're, 2 hours in? We haven't really mentioned it before, but we are not going to post your video, all right? Unless you ask us to, or you tell us it's okay to. We're not going to put you out in the world unless you want us to. But if you do win, it would sure be nice if you could provide us with some material that we can present to people, right? I mean, that would kind of be the hope anyway, is that you get the thing, you're super freaking stoked, and you want to show the whole world without any of my input or whatnot in it. But, it's more just as a kind of like a review, like your thoughts of the amp. My initial thoughts are, it looks amazing. It's the best amp I've ever seen in my entire life. Second would be, oh my God, I just jizzed in my pants. It's such an amazing sound. Like, oh my God, right? Number two, or conversely, it makes noise. If that's if that's how you feel about it, well, I mean, sucks to be the winner of a free amp, darn. But you know what I mean? Like, objectively, we just want to kind of get your impressions of it. And then of course we'll work with you on how we present it and use that material. Again, we can't force you to do that, but it would certainly be nice. But there are two things you must do. You must send a video of yourself and your rig short to toshisweetstaffy@gmail.com. That is your entry. It's free. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. The second thing is you must be present to win. That's it. If you can manage those two things, you're going to win an amp, possibly. So the other two details, being a subscriber, that's up to you. If you want to win, you're going to be a subscriber. Because it's not going to change your odds, but it certainly helps to know what's going on with this thing. There are probably going to be at least another half a dozen videos on this thing, at least. So we got quite a few more to go. I will say this, the objective of this build series and giveaway was to build interest in the craft and build appreciation for it. You're literally watching me build this thing from the ground up. I have never built this amp before. I've never built an amp like this before. So you're watching me work through all the little details that I would for all these other designs that you can't see in the shot right now. I've got 6, this is my 7th design right here. I've actually got a total of 8 different amps that I built, but one of them I don't really count. The Build It Better Than Fender series. It was literally a Fender amp. I didn't do anything other than change a few, I modified it. It's a modified, Fender Champ, if you will. So I don't really hold myself to that one at all. The Peacemaker, I did do a fair amount of differences in that one. That one is not a typical 5E3. That one's a little more beastly. It's had some different engineering going on there. So that one is kind of my own homage to a 5E3 style build, but it is not a 5E3. Just so you know, right? But that is what you're watching me work through, is all these different things. So I have some software that does kind of help getting, where things are going to exist in reality kind of tuned in, but nothing, there's a reason they have an as-built plan that comes up. So you get the plans from the engineering department and they're always off by 5 freaking feet and whatnot. They never get it right. And then you go into the building and start doing all the installation of the HVAC, the electrical, the water lines, and this, that, and the other. And next thing you know, all of you are working together on how you guys are going to cross this same point in the building that the engineers sent you to. Well, you work with all the other different trades or whatnot. You work that out, and then you go back later, update the engineers with what the actual or the as-built is. No. That's what we're doing now, is we're dealing with the concept to completion. All that fun crap. And it's not as easy as it looks. Like, how hard is it to drill a hole and put a freaking screw in there, right? I'll tell you right now, it should be that easy. I don't know why, but it never is. A lot of it too is just seeing like things ahead of time. Like, there's a lot of little things that just you don't kind of foresee right away as being a problem until it's a fucking problem. The bronze heat shield. Well, it's not actually bronze. It's actually steel. That's a big mama. Yeah. This is a KX. This is 575 milliamps in an amp that's probably only going to pull maybe 200. I believe a pair of these at full tilt boogie, or maybe it's 140 milliamps a piece or something like that. That's full tilt boogie though. I mean, so maybe 300 milliamps full tilt, like literally everything turned up to 11. This is 575. So we still have at least another almost 300. So this is at the minimum double the rating that we need for this amp. It's probably even still pretty stout for a 100 watt amp. You could use this in a 100 watt amp. The intention initially for this power transformer was for a KT88 amp. You could probably put KT88s in this, although I don't know if they would fit with the, it wasn't intended for KT88s anymore. I changed the game. And then this is a 50 watt transformer, so you don't want to put KT88s in here anyway, because they will easily smash the ever living crap out of that guy. So it's not meant for, KT88s, although it will run them. This is a 50 watt transformer. Nothing special about it. It's the same one that you would get with any kind of like JCM 800 style build or something like that. Something you would use with the EL34s that kind of has that whole thing going. I do use this transformer in some other builds, and I do like it. It's a nice transformer. So I like Hammonds. There's a couple things about them I don't like, but whatever. So this one has some design challenges in that certain things have to be done in a certain order. And one of those things is, again, putting these guys in. Once those guys go in, and they're one of the first things that has to go in the amp, that means that the back plate has to be on. So I have to like put this thing together in a particular order and stuff like that, which is severely going to slow down the build a little bit more than I had anticipated. In the coming days, our plan is going to be to get these wires kind of attached, so get the connectors put together that need to get finished up. This one here for the power transformer, etc. Start getting all the small stuff on the back put together, so the back plate will go in pretty quickly. We'll get the connectors for these guys figured out, stuff like that. So what's that for? What is the bulb on the right hand side? The bulb on the right hand side, this guy. So this is the pilot jewel, if that's what you're referring to. I did find it, but I do have like an aqua blue color. I don't know if that's going to work though. I think because nobody's argued with me about it yet, that we're going to go with baby blue for the covering. I think that'll work. We're having the white panels, right? So with white panels and the baby blue, I think it'll work really well with the black and the silver. And then we got the leather corners and stuff like that. If this aqua blue color doesn't work very well, I have clear. And I think clear would be another classy color to go with this thing. These stickers will be coming off. They do not go with the amp. Just so you know, I like taking the stickers off because they look unsightly. No left for you. No left for you. This is my left. So, a bunch of little things like that have been going on, but now I freed up some space over here, finally, for my little kitty cat. This amp will not have a standby. What the frick? Hold on. Get my thing back. It will not have a standby. We are using a thermistor. Riley knows all about thermistors. So it will still have a slow start type circuit in it. We're using a PEM, so we have filtered input. We have a shield to make sure that our tubes are well you know, isolated, or at least we hope they are. I suspect I'm not going to have any noise issues with this. Just by the can drink side. This is a pick. This is my thing. This is a, whatchamacallit. Is there something else that you see? Am I missing something? Drink side. Yeah, that's the pick. Then I got my T-handle. That's my solder. That's my mouse. Cheap, 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 cheap. All right. Is that what you were asking for? About? I don't know of anything else. But you go there. So this thing is going to be pretty cool. 4 gain stages. Okay, so this is going to be a parallel triode. So just imagine a 12AX7, right? It has 2 triodes built into one envelope. Okay, so a 12AX7 has 2 triodes. That one is going to be both those triodes tied together as one. The solo bulb socket. The solo bulb socket, like this guy? There is no solo bulb socket. Oh, that one? That's the input. But that's not a bulb. I don't see what else you're talking about, but so this is the HT measure port right here. If that's what you're referring to, this is so that way you can get a voltage reading of the HT. So I'm trying to make this amp so that you don't have to take it out of the cabinet. Every time you take this thing in and out of the cabinet, you risk messing it up. Okay, good. All right. Yeah, so we're starting to get there. We're together now. Okay, so every time you take this thing in and out of the cabinet, you risk damaging the cabinet or the amp itself. And this thing is not light. I mean, this thing is going to be probably a good 30, 40 pounds, 40 pounds closer, I think, after it's all said and done. I believe this thing weighs 11 or 12 pounds, and then this is another 3 or 4 or something like that. So we're almost halfway there just as it is. Probably closer to 30 pounds, but so I don't want you to have to take it out to measure the bias. To me, it seems kind of pointless to put bias test points in this thing and then just tell you, yeah, you're shooting for 38 milliamps. That's not how it works. That's not how you bias an amp. You need to actually put the tubes in there and do the math on it. And the only way to know what that math is to have the HT, right? So then you go to your calculator and it goes, okay, you got this many volts on the plate and you've got XYZ amount of current flowing through your cathode. You've got XYZ, dissipation going on. And then you can fudge it from there up or down, however you feel needed. But if you don't know what the plate voltage is, then all you have is I'm pulling 38 milliamps of current. You need to know what the plate voltage is. That's what this is for here, is to get that. Now, there is a little plug in here so you can keep your damn little pixie grabbers out of there. Obviously, I guess I can do the caveat emptor at this point in time. If you don't know what you're doing, don't go sticking things in holes. I will be buying plugs for these as well. So they'll have like a little plug that you would use like on the input of the amp or something like that, so that they don't get changed or messed with. Although these aren't the dangerous part. Now these guys here, I don't know that they make a plug for these or not. These ones are not too worried about. I mean, we're talking about milliamps of current. And you really, really, really got to freaking stick your finger in there to touch it. Like, even if the amp was on, I mean, we're talking, I don't even think you know that you touched anything, to be honest. You'd really have to screw up pretty bad. I know it's probably dangerous to be putting things like that in an amp because people don't understand and they will try to do things they probably shouldn't be doing. But my hope is that something that is of this caliber and of this level, and you'll see more of what I mean when we start getting it to where it looks more like an amp. But basically by that point in time, like, you understand, like, this is not a freaking toy. Everything is there for a reason, and just don't mess with it. If it's not broken, don't try to fix it. So obviously, don't take the plug off and don't try to stick your fingers in there when the amp is on, because you will get the jolt of your life. I don't think it'll kill you. I know that everybody's always like, oh, the voltages will kill you. You really have to, again, do something pretty freaking stupid for this to actually kill you. But it will freaking hurt, I'll tell you that. Now, I haven't done it myself. I've been shocked before, but I have not sat there with both my, pokey bits and touched things they shan't be at the same time. Now, the danger isn't so much touching it like this, right? So this other hand is free. If you touch it like this, it's going to buzz the ever-living shit out of your arm, right? In your hand. Like, it might burn your hand, and you're going to feel it. You're going to know you're done screwed up. Where you get into trouble is when you have both hands in there and you do something like this and that electrical flow goes through your hands, right? Which means it has to go across your chest, right? Which then can cause a problem. That is where it might get troublesome. But it's really, really, really difficult to do that. Yeah, don't stick your fingers in a hole without permission. Treat it like your baby. And don't lick the capacitors. So there will be minimal amounts of security built into this amp, mainly because there just doesn't need to be. Like, I'm not putting an HT fuse. I don't believe in HT fuses, especially where they put most of the HT fuses. We're kind of just yip-yapping now, but we're kind of talking just amp shop, I guess, if you will. So an HT fuse, they generally put it in one of two spots. One is they'll put it on the HT center tap, which I don't like that at all. It's pretty low current right there, right? Because it's crossing through zero. It's an AC element of the the power transformer, right? So when things cross through zero, it kind of reduces the amount of current flow because it's crossing through zero. A better place to do it is literally in line with the HT, but the problem is the smallest practical size of HT fuse that you can get is about 500 milliamps. Well, most power transformers don't even provide 500 milliamps worth of current. This one does, but only just, right? 575 milliamps of current on its HT, right? But only just, right? So by the time something goes wrong, that fuse probably isn't going to save anything. And if it does blow, it's not going to save it. It might save the remainder of the amp, but it's not really helping you much. The damage is probably already done. And if you can find a 250 milliamp fuse, again, we're talking about an amp that this one here, full tilt boogie, like worst case scenario, is possibly only going to pull about 300 milliamps. So again, it's just above that 250 milliamp rating. So imagine another amp where it doesn't even pull that much. Even with that 250 milliamp fuse, it's highly unlikely that fuse is going to blow before that tube goes into thermal meltdown and starts doing other shit that it's not supposed to do. There's some other safety features that they use in some spots on the amp, like the diodes to ground and stuff like that for flyback on the power transformer. Again, probably not a problem unless you're doing something you shouldn't be, right? Baby amp my ass. There he is. You're welcome back to the chat. You see this transformer? Look at that thing, man. It's like 3 of those almost. So that is a personal opinion. Now, whether or not I'm right is up for debate, but in my years of experience and what I've seen over time, the fuses that they put on the HT just don't tend to help. There's some argument to be made about fuses on the heaters. A good place for those is, if you're going to go with any kind of safety mechanism, would be on the heaters. Now, the heaters pull amps of current, right? Now, the only time you're going to have any kind of saving grace there is if you get like a heater to cathode short, or a heater, like something internal into the tube literally starts working its way that way. If you can get that kind of a short going on in your amp, you've got a hell of a party happening anyway. The hope is that you've already slapped the thing off, pulled the thing out of the wall, or ran away, because this thing is going to go up in smoke anyway, probably. By the time you've got a heater fuse blowing, you've got a power transformer that's already dust anyway. Like there's no going back from that. So, we finally, yeah, just about at the same time, huh? Just about. So I don't put some of those features in there. Now, I also use a slightly lower than some other people do use for the mains fuse. My hope is that by the time you're doing anything that's stupid enough, or the amp has something going on bad enough that it starts pulling any significant amount of current out of the wall, it'll just pop the mains fuse. By then, it's probably 99.9% of the time it's an output tube that's shorted, you know, to the screen or something, right? Something's gotten pissed off and is doing something it's not supposed to. Pisses off the power transformer, starts pulling more current, pulls more than what the thing is rated for, and it'll cut it down. This one is rated for a 3 amp. 3 amp is probably more than enough. It's pretty heavy still for this. It's probably still good enough even for a 100 watt amp. But if anything really starts going wrong, obviously that's what its job is for, is to deal with that. So, battle of the amps. Nah, it's not a battle. They're completely different amps. Completely different amps. And I guess to kind of clarify, we've got 17 viewers in here. It's pretty remarkable for me anyway. But this has a high watt output section. I'm not really neutering it all that much. I am using slightly more filtering. And Andy, shut up. I don't want to hear it. I'm using slightly more filtering, almost double than what was in a high watt. So instead of about 100 UF, I'm using 200 UF. Yeah, that's right. I'm using slightly lower than is common voltages. So in, I think most 50 watt amps, you're probably shooting right around 450 watts, or volts, excuse me. So 450 volts is probably a pretty safe number while in operation. I'm shooting for a little over 400. My goal is 405 to 410. I'm rating this thing at 400 volts. So if I get 400 volts, I will have exactly 50 watts of clean power out of this thing. So anything over 400 volts is cake. If I end up under 400 volts, which doesn't seem likely, it's just a slightly bit less, amount of clean power. Peak power is still going to be well over 50 watts, probably closer to 60 watts to be honest, but we'll have well over 50 watts at anything. If this amp runs at all, we will have 50 watts of some amount of power, but 400 volts, I have 50 watts of clean power. Yay. Hold on a second. I'm going to pull an Andy real quick and eat some food with you guys. That's fucking yummy. I'm sorry, guys. I'm hungry. Oh, yeah. It's a freaking good-ass sandwich. Anyway. Okay, Andy. Take care, my man. We'll see you soon. I love you, too. So, in any case, that's it. High watt power section. We're going with the full like fixed bias, like phase inverter that they're using too, including the driver stage that they use for it. So, prior to that though, the preamp side of things, which is basically those 3 tubes there, I started to allude on it, but I didn't quite finish the thought, but parallel triode. That is going to drive into another triode, which will drive into another triode, which will finish off on a second parallel triode. So I will have 2 parallel triodes in this amp in those 2 positions right there. This parallel triode will drive to the driver stage, which will then go into the cathode follower section of the pi section of the high watt portion of the amp, which will then drive the actual phase inverter, which is a fixed bias phase inverter. What is the difference between, say, like a Marshall phase inverter, which is like a long tail pair, or what they call the Schmidt phase inverter? I believe it's what they call it, is a Schmidt. Riley, where are you? Is it a Schmidt? Is that right? Pretty sure I'm right, but in either case, that type of phase inverter is cathode biased, if you will, right? It's class A cathode biased. Nothing crazy or special about it. It's used in many Fender, Marshall, Vox, millions of other amps. Where the fixed bias side of things come in is that there's a voltage that's applied to the grids in the high watt, and that is kind of done up, I think, through the cathode follower portion of the driver section of that phase inverter. And with that, it allows a little more swing, right? A little more clean swing from the output of the phase inverter to then drive your output section a little bit harder. It's got a little more snot to it. So that's the idea behind it anyway. Mullet, welcome to the party. Nice. Great job, my man. Thank you for getting in. The more, the merrier. What are we up to now, Grant? I think we got to be close to what, 15, 20 people at this point? Something like that, maybe a little bit more. I've gotten more subscribers than that. In the last month alone, I think I've gotten 100 subscribers. So, and I know that your subscriber count has gone up. You're right close to like 200 right now, right? Yeah, it's way easy to, right, Mullet? Come on, tell people, let them know. Go onto the forums, tell them, just give them a link if you want. It's up to you. You don't have to, but I know it, right now you're probably like, I ain't telling nobody. There is a requirement. There has to be a minimum of 30 entrants before we'll do the giveaway. So you're at the very minimum going to be going against 30 individuals. So don't feel bad yet. I'm hoping for a little bit more. I'd like to get at least 50. But we'll see where it goes. I honestly wasn't expecting much traction on this until we actually got sound out of it, or something a little more tangible. We're starting to get to something that's a little more tangible now. Ooh, yeah. But once we get something that's a little more tangible and has something that, you know, everybody's looking for, like the sound sample, I think then the clamoring will start for people to want to be like, oh, wait a minute, now I want to play. But again, kind of going backwards just a little bit, you know, objectively, we were trying to get this kind of appreciation for the craft and appreciation for, you know, what it is that these boutique builders are doing, especially those that are doing more of the one-off kind of stuff. I don't want to do one-offs per se. Like, I don't want to get somebody to come into here and be like, I want XYZ. I don't want to freaking make another modified Marshall that's just like every other modified Marshall out there. I want to do my own little thing. So most all of my builds so far are one-offs because I'm making these designs that I will then lock in, and those will be the options that you get. If you want the Atlas, you got to hear that the other night if you watched one of my lives. It's a killer amp. It's got a little bit more refinement to do, but we're getting really close with that. The other day we got to hear the Red Rocket. I released that out of my members only channel. If you want to become a member, you can get a little bit more detailed information, get some behind the scenes kind of stuff, I guess, if you will, just more pointed stuff, I guess, not so scatterbrained like some of this stuff is, but, and then, if you want my 18 watt design, which you've seen me build on a couple different build series in here, you know, like those things are kind of settled designs. The last giveaway I did, the Peacemaker, that is a settled design. Like, that is an amp that I will be glad to make again. I almost want to make one for myself. That thing was fun. If you go to my channel and you check out my shorts, there's a bunch of videos that show the Peacemaker being played. That is what that amp sounds like. Played through a 2x12 cabinet with a real mic in the room. That was not played through like the Torpedo Captor X. No crazy trickery being done. I played it through an actual cabinet with an actual mic in the room. That's what you're hearing on that one. So I'm quite proud of the Peacemaker, to be honest. So little things like that. And then this one here, ooh, this one's going to be mean. If you caught the members only video that I put out, which was saying I do high gain too, I just do it differently. That one will give you an idea of about where this one I think will land in terms of its overall gain. I think it will have a little bit more on tap. Honestly, I think it'll have quite a bit more gain on tap, to be honest, but we'll see. But at least that amount of gain kind of going on, and kind of that similar kind of tonality, like definitely rock, blues. Clean, I don't know how this thing's going to do with clean yet, because I'm not going to put like channels and like switching options in here. I don't like switches and stuff like that. To me, it's just too much tweakery going on. Like, let's keep it simple. So this one will have a lot of volume controls, and that's how you'll be able to dial in where the clean will exist. Hopefully it's not going to take too much refinement to get the best of both worlds. So I like beautiful cleans. That's a big thing of mine, is big, beautiful cleans. I don't know how that's going to bode with this one. Again, I haven't done anything. So again, this is what I'm kind of talking about, is like, how is this kind of stuff done? And that's what this whole series is kind of about, is showing you how that is done. So if you haven't seen the earlier stuff, if you're here currently, if you're one of the 16 that hasn't seen any of the earlier stuff, check out the earlier parts of this series, and you'll see we're going from the idea of a layout and schematic and stuff like that. The schematic, we show how we come up with all that kind of stuff. And then of course, as you go along, you see now we got transformers and all that fun stuff. I think with all of that, we've kind of exhausted everything that we've intended to do today. I'm probably going to do another live tomorrow, and the intention with that one will be to probably get let's get the thing ready here. I want to try to keep things nice and pretty like. So, Das Beast. This thing's going to be beastly. All right. And in you go. All right. So we'll probably try to maybe get like the heaters installed. We'll maybe get this braided and kind of get like things that I know that I can get out of the way. I'll probably try to get done. I got to order some more parts, like those screws or something like that. Those will take a couple days to get here. That's kind of non-incidental, to be honest, but that won't hold me up for anything. Everything else looks like it's going to be pretty snazzy. I need to get the connector in on those braided wires down there. That's this guy here. Jesus, something's peeling out in front of my house or something like that. So we'll just try to get a little bit of tightening up on some of the things that are going to be problematic for me, just kind of in the way. And then we need to start getting prepared for the back panel to get put in. I don't know that we'll get that done tomorrow, but maybe. But these guys, unfortunately, have to be like the very first things that get put in. And for those to get put in means that this guy has to go on and stay on permanently. So those will go down in there and hold that on, right? So little things like that. I really wanted to try to make it modular so I could take the back plate off with all the parts out and then replace everything, but whatever, we don't always get to win. Once we get all the wiring kind of solidified and in place and everything's tucked down in there, then we can start getting to the fun shit, which is like getting these guys installed and getting the turret board put back together again. I kind of jumped ahead on that one. It was more that I needed to have some content kind of done while we were waiting for more parts to arrive. So it's just, not ideal in terms of order, but like little things like I mentioned earlier that the shield, the tube shield that we have there, power transformer shield, things like that needed to get done early because I wanted the paint to have enough time to cure so I can handle it to then get it in this amp without damaging it. So there's like certain things that you have to do in a certain order. This is how that's panned out. Keep it simple. So I film my guitars and amps, just send that. Lex, it's really simple. I'm going to show you right now. Just watch me. Hey, how's it going? My name is Luke Geis. I've been playing guitar for 30 some odd years. Love guitar amps. I love your channel because you're the coolest motherfucker known to man. Love you. So, hey, this is my guitar amp over here. Check it out. It's a pile of shit. I need to replace it. But I got this really cool pedal board that I'd love to plug into your amp because I want to win it. That's it. That's really it. You don't have to be just like that, but you know what I mean? Like that simple. Like we just want to know who you are, your name, what your rig is. We just want to see, more or less, you need to be able to plug this into something, right? So if you only got a combo amp that doesn't have like an external speaker input on it, this ain't going to do you really good. If you've got a 25 watt speaker an 8-inch speaker or something that can't really handle 50 watts of power, it's not going to do you much good to have this, right? What are you going to do with this thing if you don't have a way to play it? So it's kind of it behooves you, if you will, to have a rig that will suit this. So I'm not trying to like dissuade you if you're a newbie. We don't care how well you play. That's not the goal here. But it does no good to have this if you don't have something to play it through. Otherwise, you've just got a really nice looking furniture piece in your house. And if you've seen some of my other builds, these things are basically furniture pieces. They're freaking gorgeous. And they have lights and they look cool. They sound awesome. Like you want to just, you know what I mean? Like all that above. So that's just it. Like, you know, be prepared. So I'm not really in charge of that though. So I'm just going to, again, kind of point it out. My job is to make the amp. I'm not dealing with the actual entries. Okay. So I haven't seen a single one of your entry videos yet. So just so you know, not my job, not my thing. My job is to build this thing and create content so you can see it being built. Make sense? So I have no input on how this thing is actually going to be given away, how the entries actually get handled, other than shoveling you to Grant Us Glorious Tones channel and how to do that entry. But I'm trying to point you in a direction because I don't know how he's doing it, right? You know, you need to be able to accommodate this. So it's helpful to make sure that that's part of your entry, I would say. But I'm not handling that, so I can't tell you. But if you win, you better get a cab. Even if you got to rent it from Guitar Center, you better get it. And if anything too, like it'll be kind of maybe like a little push for you guys to like just go out and get something anyway. Like, dare I say, it's kind of like, not sales pitchy, what's the word for it? Inspiring you to like go just do that sort of thing. I'm not trying to sell you anything here. So I don't have any affiliate links or anything like that. I'm not trying to get you to go anywhere in particular. I don't want you to do anything you don't want to do. It would suck that you can't win because you don't have a cabinet to accommodate this, because it's kind of part of the whole kit and parcel. What is the word? I'm freaking something and parcel. Anyway, you know what I mean. So just put something in and talk to Grant Us Glorious Tone and see what he says, because he's the one kind of managing all that. So hell yeah. Freaking another 4x12 for the win. I only got one. I want to get another one, but get in on it, dude. That's all I can say. Just get in on it. With that, you guys, I think I'm going to call it. We are literally right at the 3-hour mic. Kit and caboodle. That was one. But there's like something and parcel. I can't remember what it's called. It's like pit and parcel or something like that, or I can't, it doesn't matter. Whatever. Squirreling on that. Again, tomorrow we will have some more content going on, generally about this time. So I work during the day. For those of you who do not know, I'm an IT technician during the day. So my job is to fix computers and printers and all that fun stuff. So, when I get home, I'm usually home around 4 o'clock-ish or so my time. I live in California. So I'm usually home right around that time. And then I'm out in the garage. I'm trying to come up with a kind of a game plan of what we're going to do. So I'll kind of take a quick gander, do any quick little research, the bits I need to do, and off we go. I'll set up the thing, and usually about 5 o'clock. Today I got in a little bit earlier. I was kind of shocked. So we started at 4:30 today as opposed to 5. But generally right around 5 o'clock-ish is when we do these videos. This week is a good week for me to get a lot done because I have pretty much everything I need now, other than like a couple small things. So I need longer screws, as we now have learned. Just little things, right? Like I did order some knobs. I was talking about it the last video. I didn't like that the knobs I had like a cream, like white thing. So I did order some knobs, and I got like a half a dozen different types. Not quite a half a dozen, like I think 3 different styles, but all in the black and white motif kind of thing. But so yeah, those will be here in the next day or 2, I think. Whatever, they'll be here in time enough. But we all need a longer screw. No truer words have ever been spoken. So yeah, tomorrow I think the big plan is going to be getting like the heaters ran and getting like the things that need to be kind of out of the way taken and put in place. Maybe we'll get this connector put on, little things like that. And then we'll go from there. We'll just go from there. So we'll figure that all out, and with any luck by this weekend, depending on how much progress I can make before Friday, which I should be able to make a fair amount of progress. If we can't get to that, turret board, you can barely see it. It's that right there. But if we can't get to the turret board by Friday, I'm going to be a little disappointed. Once the turret board goes in, we're only another day or 2 away. And when I mean all I got left to do is wire like all the stuff up. It should only take about a day to do the wiring. It'll probably take a day to get that guy soldered and put in. It'll probably take another day to get this other mess over here done. A lot of little things got to play in, but if we can get that far, again, objectively, I was hoping to make noise this weekend. I'm probably just going to push it out anyway because there's no pressure really at this point. I don't have this gig that I thought I was going to have to do, so that's saving me some time. So I'm not pressured really to get anywhere. So Indiana, it's 10:30. Ooh, it's a little late for you. So get here earlier for sure. You want to get here like right at 4:30 because that would put you right around 7 o'clock ish. So, in either case, I thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me. I am super excited. This is going to happen. But in the meantime, you guys take care, and we'll see you soon.